Hey there, everybody! Andy here from Legendary Tales, and welcome back to Tales of Legend, a tabletop role-playing game for your worlds, your heroes, and your stories. In our last video, we went over the basics of aspect roles, skills, and how to use them, especially in exploration and social interactions. But today, we're getting into the tactical stuff. Let's talk about combat in Tales of Legend. Thanks for joining in. Now let's begin. The first thing I want to say here is that despite the majority of the rules in Tales of Legend revolving around combat, I reject the idea that the game is only about fighting monsters. Do I like combat in tabletop role-playing games? Absolutely. But the reason why I don't have explicit rules for exploration and social interaction beyond basic roles is because I want Tales of Legend to get out of the way and let your tables roleplay. I have always found that once you add mechanics for exploration and social interaction, it limits the scope of the roleplay, gamifying it like a video game. I'd rather roleplay without hindrance. However, I love interesting mechanics in tactical combat. So how does Tales of Legend work? Well, let's start at the beginning. The combat scenario begins when hostile intention is signaled by one or both sides. First, all creatures inside of the heroes are identified as allies, foes, or bystanders. Then, the Legend Master makes a fate roll. On a 1 to 10, the foes act first. On a roll of 11 to 20, the heroes act first. Bystanders automatically act third. The system for when different creatures act in a tabletop role-playing game is typically called the initiative system. In Tales of Legend, the heroes and foes trade off taking turns like a chessboard. I think this best simulates these actions happening simultaneously. I've never liked it when all the enemies move at once, for example. The next part of the puzzle is the order within each group. So if the heroes act first, the hero with the highest grace score goes first. If two heroes tie in grace, they can decide who goes first. But then the hero order stays the same round after round. The Legend Master has more flexibility. So the heroes act first, and the hero with the highest grace takes their turn first. Then it passes to the foes. The Legend Master selects one foe and takes its turn, regardless of its grace score. Then the hero with the second highest grace goes. Then the Legend Master selects a foe that hasn't had a turn, etc., etc. Now, rules as written, the Legend Master should keep the same turn order that they selected in the first round for the following rounds. Frankly, though, I sort of like switching my order each turn as the Legend Master. It makes things more challenging and dramatic for my players. Just a little house rule I've already made. Feel free to use it. Now, let's say that a foe's resolve is reduced to 0. Unless the Legend Master wants to keep that foe alive, or the heroes want to specifically deal non-lethal damage, a foe dies once its resolve reaches 0. Then its turn is skipped in combat. The same thing happens for a hero whose resolve reaches 0. They don't die, but take on the dying status effect. Until that is resolved, their turn is simply skipped, and the foes get to take 2 turns in a row, and that's how a round goes. Once combat begins, time in game slows down. Each round, despite taking multiple minutes for the players, takes 6 seconds in game time. This means that a combat scenario that lasts 10 rounds takes 1 minute in game time. That means that effects that last a minute or longer can take up an entire scenario, or maybe even longer. Something to keep in mind when reading the language of the game. Okay, so Andy's first hero is out in the forest hunting for wild boar. He stumbles upon a small herd, and while most of them run away, 3 stick around to fight. Let's go through a combat scenario from the perspective of the hero and the perspective of the Legend Master. The Legend Master first rolls a d20 fate roll and rolls a 14. The hero gets to act first. So, Andy's first hero gets to act first. Since the boars are within range of his bow, he doesn't feel the need to move. Instead, he's going to spend both of his 2 action points on attacks. So we will expend the first action and take a heavy bow attack on the boar in the center. 1d20 plus 1d4 plus 3. I roll an 8 on the d20 and a 1 on the d4. That's 8 plus 1 plus 3 for a total of 12. The physical defense of the boar is 10. 12 is higher than 10, so the boar will take resolve damage. I then get to roll damage to see how much resolve damage the boar takes. I roll 2d4, I roll a 2 and a 3. Adding my grace score for damage, I deal 8 points of stab damage. The boar only has 5 resolve, so the arrow kills the boar. The Legend Master talks about how the arrow stabs the boar between the eyes, killing it instantly. Now it's the Legend Master's turn. The Legend Master selects one of the boars to take its turn. Let's look at the boar's creature sheet. As you can see, creature sheets are simpler than a hero sheet. The Legend Master only has 2 action points, just like the hero, but has no options for range damage. The boar only has 25 feet of movement and speed, but has a creature bonus called Charge. When the boar uses 2 action points on movement, it can attack as a free action. So the Legend Master uses 2 action points on movement, so the boar can move up to 50 feet. And then, for a free action, the boar is going to attack. The Legend Master rolls a d20 and rolls a 13. The boar gets a +1 bonus to its accuracy rolls, so the total is 14, and the boar hits our hero. Rolling 1d4 to deal resolve damage, and getting a 3 + 1, the boar deals 4 resolve damage to our poor hero. Typically the next hero would take their turn, but since Andy's first hero is all by himself, we will skip to the final boar. It will also attempt a charge. Now, according to the rules, since there are 2 foes attacking our hero at the same time, in melee range, Andy's first hero provokes an opening. Oh no! Rushing forward, the boar rolls a 12 on the d20. 12 + 1 is only 13 and should miss. However, since our hero provokes openings, the boar also gets to add aptitude to the roll. Instead of rolling 1d4, however, the Legend Master elects to just add the average, which is an additional +2 to the roll. This makes the boar's total 15, which also hits. Luckily, the boar only rolls a 1 on the d4 damage, +1, and the total resolve loss is 2. Starting at the top of the round again, our hero has lost 6 out of his 17 resolve. He only has 11 left to finish the boars off. Bows lose their aptitude bonus if they have enemies in melee range. Therefore, our hero needs to rely on his trusty dagger. Turning to one of the boars, he uses his free action to grab, switching from his bow to his dagger. He stabs at the boar. As luck would have it, he rolls a 20 on the d20. That is a critical success on the accuracy roll. So how do critical hits work in Tales of Legend? First, the attack automatically hits. Secondly, instead of rolling damage, you get to maximize your damage die. In the case of a dagger, that is a 1d4. So, 4 damage. Finally, you get to add additional damage equal to a roll of your aptitude die. That's also a d4 at level 1. Our hero rolls a 1, so 4 + 1 is 5, which is just enough to kill the second boar in a single hit. Now, with another action point to spare, our hero attacks the second boar. The accuracy roll is good. With a 14 on the d20 by itself, the attack hits. Unfortunately, rolling a 1 on the damage means that the total damage dealt is 4, leaving the boar with 1 resolve and able to fight. Now that there is only 1 boar left, Andy's first hero is no longer provoking openings. So when it's the final boar's turn, it makes an attack with 1 action point and rolls a 1 on the die. There are no critical failures in Tales of Legend, but with a total of 2, our hero easily dodges out of the way of the attack. Then the boar takes a second attack, and this time rolls a 15 on the d20. It hits, and also rolls 4 on the d4 for a maximum of 5 resolve damage. We go into the third and final round. With only 6 resolve left, Andy's first hero is able to stab into the final boar with his dagger, finishing the fight. Bruised and exhausted, our hero then takes 10 minutes to take a break. By expending 1 of his 25 supplies, he's able to recover 5 lost resolve. The Legend Master describes how he uses some of the ointment on his scratches and eats a snack of beef jerky. Now back to 11 resolve, Andy's first hero can pack up his kills and return to his village with pork to sell. These are the basics of combat in Tales of Legend. We haven't talked about trigger actions, status effects, or the other actions and free actions, but they don't become more prominent until the heroes have more action points. so the game gradually increases in complexity as you level up. I hope that everyone found this useful. In our next video, we will be taking Andy's first hero and leveling him up from level 1 to level 2, and discuss how that will impact him in combat. I hope you will join me for that next video. If you are enjoying these tutorials, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, taking a look at our website at legendarytalesrpg.com, and joining our Discord server. I hope to see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day, everybody.